In this video, I'm going to cover how you can control what angles you can route your pipe at. And before you really draw anything, or at least seriously draw anything, it is still up to you as the designer to understand what the families in your routing preferences are capable of. I'm going to just briefly go into the routing preferences of this pipe. Now, this is the generic mechanical template that comes with Revit, so this is just that generic routing preference here, copper K pipe, and for the sake of this is all fine. And this uses, and I'm only going to turn elbows here, so I'm focusing on elbows, but in this case it's the generic elbow, and it is capable of any possible angle. However, there are plenty of families out there that are only capable of one angle or a couple of angles, like maybe only 90 or 90 and 45. So you need to be aware, again, as the designer, it is on you, it is your responsibility to know whether or not that elbow is capable of the angles that you're going to ask of it. In this case, like I said, it can do anything. So we can go ahead and move past this. And I'm going to start drawing pipe. And you can see there that it's telling me the angle before I draw anything, but it seems to have stop points. See, it seems to be moving rather smoothly, and then it jumps. I don't know if you can see this on my screen here. I'll zoom in maybe. And as soon as I get near 11.25, it jumps. And you can see that the pipe kind of separates from my cursor. And even as I keep moving up, my cursor moves past that point, and then finally it catches back up until I get to another multiple of 11.25, which is in this case 22.5. So what's controlling that snap angle? Well, if you go to the Manage tab, click on Snaps, here's what's controlling it. Now you can see in my snaps I have every possible snap turned on. That's just my preferred approach. If I were to change this to, say, 1 degree, start drawing pipe, notice now, because I have that snap increment down to such a tight precision of 1 degree, it's just constantly jumping to the next full degree. And I'm not getting the degrees that are subdivided into tenths and hundredths of a degree. If I were to change this to 22.5, see, it did not snap to 11.25, but it waits until I got to 22.5. Now at 45 degrees, you get this nice alignment line. Then 67.5 is the next increment, the multiple of 22.5. And then at 90, you're going to get another nice alignment line. One of the nice things about using this approach to control your angle is if you are planning on fabricating some of your own fittings for odd angles, then you can use this to draw those odd angles as well as snapping to the more common ones. Another method, and honestly the way I normally use to control my routing angles, is under MEP settings and mechanical settings. If you go to pipe settings, then angles, if you're starting from a default template, or maybe your template is still just set this way, it would be set to use any angle. But if I want to limit my angles, I can select this option. And then down here, you can't turn off 90 degrees. So regardless of what you do here, you will at least be able to draw your elbows at 90 degrees. But let's say I want to limit my angles to only 90 and 45. I'm going to draw pipe. Now you can see I'm still getting the angle. It looks like I can draw at, say, 27.6 degrees. But if I click, you see it actually adjusted to make that 45 degree angle. And here, 45. if I got near 90, it will allow me to do that. It will force it to that 45 or 90 degree angle or whatever you have that set at. So here are your two methods. One allows more freedom, so you can snap to those common angles, but also draw, I don't know if exotic is the word, but more uncommon angles for your fittings if you're fabricating those. But if you would also like to limit your angles to something very specific and not allow the more uncommon angles, like if you're not fabricating your fittings, so you're limited to whatever angles these elbows come in, then you can do that through the mechanical settings.